Okay, time to start the stream, everybody. Welcome to my hands-on review of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the end of the beginning. Wow, that's how you know it's live. I just choked a little bit. So, if my face is a little sad, I just watched Infinity War, and so I'm recovering emotionally from that, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the end of the beginning with Tomb Raider. Last night I went to a special event, one of 3 held around the world, one in London, one in Quebec, and one, thankfully, in LA. We were surrounded by a lot of long lifetime fans of Tomb Raider, and it was just so good to be around that community and talk to people that I know geek out and nerd out just as much as I do. I had a fantastic experience of arriving there an hour early, getting in the car and squealing at my excitement as we went to the Mayan and just reading what the billboard was of what was happening, the way that they had everything themed. I was just over the moon. So before we talk about my evening, what we went through, what we did, I'm going to go ahead and play the latest trailer for you guys. We got a lot to talk about, so let's just get into it. Oh, probably from the beginning.
So far. I'm not turning back.
Yes.
After all I've sacrificed. I have to wonder. What will I become?
Well, that is it for the latest trailer. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this on a intriguing screen. There we go. That way we can have a conversation. So we got there. They really went all out. They had the display of the deluxe edition and just like the PS4, the Xbox, the PC. They just had everything, so you knew what you were getting if you pre-bought it. and what came with it. So we enter, everything's filled with smoke, there's vines all over the ceiling, and we go through this vine entryway, so we immediately feel like a jungle queen, just being like, yes, Laura. We got our photos taken, and they were 360 cameras, so if you're on my Twitter, you'll be able to see what that looks like. We also had some very fun themed cocktails. Let me pull up to see which ones they had. Because I had one of each. some of us had more than one. Let's see, the cocktails were the solar eclipse, the shadow, and the Maya apocalypse. So that they were mostly good. The Maya apocalypse tastes like grapefruit, and I'm not a big fan of that. But yeah, it was good. For food, they went with empanadas and tacos. So they just wanted everything to fit, and everybody was just kind of going towards one bar. And Nuke and I found a bar to the side that no one had quite discovered, and there was no line there. So that bartender was our BFF for the whole night. Speaking of BFFs, I got my hands-on experience with the game. We got to sit down and play up to an hour of it, depending on how long you took. And I was analyzing it bit by bit as I was going through it. I didn't rush the gameplay. I wanted to move the camera around and look at Laura, look at some of the environments, see what highlighted, what didn't, what I could interact with at this point. The game still needs polish, and what I'd get to hopefully see coming down the line. So if you think about the timeline of Lara Croft, this is the end of the beginning. It says so right up there at the top of the video. This is the end of her first trilogy. So we had baby Laura, all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, gorgeous, makeup on fleek, right? Is that even a thing anymore? Or should I say on point, so I don't sound like such a hipster. Then the second one, Rise of the Tomb Raider, where she had a little bit more willingness to bend when it came to the supernatural and trying to prove her father right, and that she's not just another crazy Croft. And this is a game where she comes into her own, and of course she's not alone. Our bestie Jonah is here with us. Of course, he's our right-hand man. He's our lifelong friend. He's not going anywhere, hopefully. You know, waters do rise sometimes, and we've already lost a few beloved characters. Here, it's very important to keep in mind that all of the choices Laura has been making, they do come with consequences. You think about Indiana Jones, he goes off and he does this relic and that relic, and this is Indiana Jones with boobs, right? She's the same thing. She's just a little bit more hard-hitting, and that comes at a steep price. There are just moments, even in the beginning, where you realize, oh my gosh, no. What? No. What? It's exploding. It exploded my brain a little bit with all the excitement. The mechanics, I never ever want to say that any Lara Croft is an open world. The very first, like the retro games, which I do want to stream and like have fun with, I felt like you could go back and forth quite a bit. I love that. At any time I could just revisit anything I wanted, even though it didn't necessarily lead to anything. This is like that, but on a narrower scale. So while the world looks bigger, you have less room to explore, but on the bright side, you're not blocked in with the 90s cubicles of game mechanics. So I want to say it's a more open linear game, because it's very much, we're going to direct you here, and eventually you'll unlock things, and if you want to achieve 100%, which we always do, you're going to want to go back to some of the save points. Let's see, combat. I love being a mixture of stealth and combat. I hate being heads on. God of War really pushed me to just fight. I'm playing Witcher 3 right now, and that's encouraging me to fight and use a lot of fingerings and buttons, and I realize that sounds really bad, but just stay with me. The first game was great because you had a good balance of stealth and combat. The second game was more forced combat, I feel, over stealth. And this one, I'm so afraid it's gonna favor more stealth over combat. I want that balance. I want each gamer to choose, because each Laura is different. I'm a different Laura from your Laura, and I want to be able to customize that aspect of her. Some very notable things about this Laura is she is jacked. She like in such a lady boner kind of way. She's got these arm muscles that are to die for, and yeah, she's cut, she's ripped. She is what we saw in the movie of Tomb Raider. This is that. She puts in the work. She's a beast. She's a force to be reckoned with. And Laura has always been a badass. And she was just at this godly stature way before the reboot, and now we're seeing like right before the cusp. We're right at the cusp. So she's still young. She is going to still have those self-centered moments, which I noticed in her dialogue, and eventually she's going to grow up and she won't be such a brat, for lack of a better word. So we enter the game. The ambiance is fantastic. I loved it. It's so good. It was so good. The level was really well thought out. There's quite a few new mechanics, things from the old time Tomb Raiders that we finally get back, which I love, because there was, what was it, Legend? Yes, Legend. That was one of the PS ones, I think a PS2 one. They introduced a tool, a gadget. We'll call him a gadget, because I've been playing Rainbow Six, so I know him as. They introduced a gadget I really liked, and they have that in here. Just water elements. You actually get to use water, which is great. Oh my gosh, do you remember ogling Laura in her swimsuits and her like wetsuit? I do, because I'm a pervert, so of course I remember that. Everything about her just Laura. I've done my best to live my life as Lara Croft, traveling, and now I'm doing it through video games lately, which is good. The puzzles, I'm excited to see what the future puzzles are. The game itself does need the 5 months of refinement. There's just things that need to be worked on, I feel. In the trailer, her face does look more chiseled than the game. So there was a point in the game where I could finally rotate my camera and really study Laura's face and her hair and everything. And yeah, I did study those jacked arms, just everything. She is still the cute ass Laura. I know there's just a point where her face just looked so wrong to me up on the big screen when we were watching it, and it doesn't seem so bad on a smaller screen. I want this game to come out in 4K because I want to do it on a console, because I feel like console over PC for this is really going to get me engaged. I feel like my palms will be sweaty the whole time, because as they use the vibrations, I feel for certain moments, they're supposed to build excitement in you. And when we were testing it out, that brought it to life for me in another way. So I would love to sit down and play it on the couch with you guys. Let's see. BFF Jonah's great. Covered that. I just don't want to give away any spoilers whatsoever. I want you to go in and just know that, like, we had baby Tomb Raider. We had her island moment, which was very clumsy, and we got to see her be human. The start of a heroine, the middle bit up on this icy mountain, and with all of these people that she has to help in a village. That was okay. My heroic chops are being put to the forefront, but this is she a hero? Is Laura a hero? I don't know, but she's a badass. She looks great doing it. I can't wait for the game. It was not long enough for me. Of course it wasn't. I wanted to have my giant table filled with drinks and with food, because I just wanted to sit there the whole time, make everybody leave. People were a distraction for me because I just wanted to be in my world with no one bugging me, nothing running up to me, nothing touching me. I just wanted to be in the moment. So I'm excited for this game to come out so that I can do that. Let's see. Whether it's most like the first of the reboot or the second, I'd say it's going to pair very similarly to the second. We'll see how the story adds up. The first one had so much heart. We'll see what this one does. I want it to have a lot of depth. I want it to have a lot of heart, but I don't think anything's going to beat that first reboot. Let's go ahead and go through this trailer together. Look at the bugs, the beetles, the flies, it's all a good touch. Exactly what I want from a dark presence. I just want you to dip your fingers and then smear your face in blood. It's classic. It's a classic trope, right? Oh, did that? For those of you that are Rainbow Six fans. Did that look like Caviera to anybody? Yeah, it looked like Caviera to me. Yes. Badass Laura. One with the jungle. Like, come on. Forget the jaguar we saw earlier. She is the scariest thing in the jungle right now. Look at that. Boom. Tree kill. And he killed his friend like an idiot, so I don't think he's ever going to make it in Rainbow Six Siege.
I've come so far. I'm not turning back.
No, you're not.
After all I've sacrificed, I have to wonder.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, those water scenes. Those water scenes, they get me every time. And this cut right here, very artistic. That's so that's cut so well. Look. This kid was about to get murdered, and he's like, oh no, you're way scarier, lady. I'd rather be with the guys with the freaky mask than touch your hands. Like, okay, brother. Okay.
What will I become?
Become the Tomb Raider. Little do they know. I am the Tomb Raider. But that's it. So if you guys have any questions or comments you want to make, feel free to leave them in the chat after the video is done, because I've been doing this chat free, so it's just like me and you having a conversation. I'm excited. I'm not going to go into details about what each little thing that I played was like. That's not fair for either of us. It's not. You're just gonna have to sit and experience it, or join me for the stream when it comes out. I'm over the moon. I'm so excited for what this has become, because I was so afraid after the second one that they weren't going to come out with a third. And when I started streaming this, it's because I saw that it was going to come out in 2019, and I was like, you guys, this says it's coming out in 2019, and I'm lucky enough to have this in 2018. I don't even have to wait another year. But my background with Tomb Raider, she was my first video game ever on PC, and I think I was like 7 or 8 at the time, and she was just so influential to me. She like changed how I thought about things, and what I could be, and that I could be a strong, kick-ass woman and go all over the world if I wanted, and not a thing could stop me. She had money, and you know what? I had willpower. So it's good. I can't wait to be clever together on the internet. But that is going to be it for me. And just know that I love your faces. There will not be another stream tonight. I'm going out to do a thing with family. Know that I love your faces. It's been a pleasure, and I will talk to you later. Bye.